if you persist in the practices we've described as contemplation and meditation, and understand the ego begins to get dissolved when you understand it. As you understand it, it sort of begins to limply fall away. So there's less standing in your way. Then you get to serious spiritual practice, either in a formal meditative form, or in the kind of meditation which I tend to favor, which is more a contemplative meditation, which is continuous at all times throughout the day, no matter what you're doing, in which one focuses on context instead of content. The focus is on the totality of the experience and not on the specifics. The value of that, which I've never really specifically defined for the group. I'll write it out, and if you miss this, you miss everything of great value. You've been waiting for this moment, folks. So, all right, now we're going to specify something in a way that I think will really resolve it completely and totally. We said the ego is linear. And this particular, if we call it a pathway, emphasizes the importance of realizing the difference between content and context. See? Because content is specifics, see? And it's got a shape, it's got a design. It, therefore, is in the linear domain. This is in the linear domain. We call this content because this is what your mind is focusing on. Specifics. So we call this content. Mr. Content, hi. This is Mr. Content. So, this is the linear world, the Newtonian paradigm of reality. The linear paradigm of reality, radical mechanistic reductionism, scientific reductionism, materialistic reductionism of science, says it's not real unless you can measure it, weigh it, locate it in time and place. Science, to this day, says that's all that's real. This is what the world considers real. This is content. If we were dissatisfied with content, we wouldn't be here. Now, we sense that there's something other than content. There's something other than the material measurable. And that is the indefinable context. The ego identifies with content. Spirit is context. And here is the great difficulty, that people don't understand that content depends on context. This is comprehensible only because of context. It is because of context. The relationship between content and context is then what spiritual work is all about. In the style of contemplation or meditation, which I describe in the book and in the lectures and all, one learns to focus on the context. The person who is not spiritually oriented is focused and identifies with this as reality, is fixed constantly on content, is focused on specifics, and loses the whole awareness of context. The experience of the presence of God is when context totally sweeps away all except the infinite allness, which includes content, but only as part of context. Now this dissolves into part of the context. All right. So that relationship between content and context, then, is very a way in which we can bring the totality of spiritual versus personal into some kind of a comprehensible form. How did I screw it all up like that?
Wow.
And then we resolve the entire relationship between the Newtonian and the non-Newtonian, between the linear and the nonlinear, and we take it right through the door into the infinite quantum potentiality. The purpose of all this is because the book Power versus Force never really specifically came down to this concrete depiction